Chaz Large here with another video for you and another fix it on the bench. We've got a BOSE music system on here. That's a radio and CD player. You can also do various other bits and pieces, but we're just concerned really about the CD player. The customer complains that it doesn't play CDs, but I think what he's actually getting at is it doesn't play all CDs. I've put several CDs in this. The first two I tried plays fine, and here's an example. I'll just turn the volume up. So these are just tracks, audio tracks on a CD from the YouTube library, so I can happily leave it running and not worry about a content match. But it's a CD that's written on a computer. Now usually when CD players start to play up, they're usually the first discs that they won't play because they're not manufactured discs, they're burnt by a laser burning dye process. But this one is playing fine. A couple of other CDs that I've put in, absolutely fine. Let me put in another disc which physically looks okay. There's no scratches on the disc, it's nice and clean. It's an album by Daft Punk called Homework. So let's pop that in and I'll show you what it appears to be doing on this disc, and it's only this disc that it's doing it on. So it's starting off saying read disc. It's taking a little bit longer than it did on the other disc to read the disc. It does say track 1, and if I press play, it was playing, sorry. I'll turn it up so you can hear what's going on. It's sort of trying to read the data and can't. So that says to me, and you can see that the counter here has not gone above 2 seconds. If I skip it on a little bit, say to the next track, it just about finds the track. I can hear it hunting quite a bit for the track, but it's not finding it. So the question is, why only one disc of all my test discs is this doing it on? Now this disc is physically, as far as I can tell, as good as any other disc that I've tried. My good old test disc from Gloria Estefan. It's been used a lot. There's a few scratches on this one. This Daft Punk one has not got any scratches at all. Well, not big ones like this there is on this one, but if I put the Gloria Estefan disc in there, you'll see it reads the disc. Now look, that's interesting. This played fine earlier on. So are we looking at something beginning to fail, like for instance a power supply is starting to go down? Also, according to the customer, this, I'll turn the volume right down in case it does start playing. We don't want a content match. This machine has actually been back to BOSE a couple of times for the similar sort of fault, and presumably they've replaced bits and pieces and got it working and sent it back to the customer. It's now well out of warranty, so he said, can you have a look at it? So that's what I'm doing. I'm having a look at it. It's still struggling to play this disc. So my first guess would be, and I'm going to take it apart, is dust and dirt in the CD mechanism, because this disc spinning round generates a static field that drags dust in. Dust can build up over the optics and cause it to stop working properly. So never opened one of these before, so it's a bit of an experience getting one of these open. So let's see what we can do about that. Going to power it off first, disconnect the mains cable. And it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 screws that are holding the top on. So quite beefy screws on there. Hopefully it should just come apart fairly simply. It feels like it's going to. There we go. Yep, it's just a cabinet. Let's pop that down there safely. Right, so it's not going to get damaged. Right. Okie dokie. So we have got the speakers on that front panel. This whole top bit here looks like it comes away. Now, does that come away and give access to our CD mechanism? Or have we got to disconnect things? We've got a mains plug there, we've got the, I think the transformer and the speakers. Right, the speakers plug in down there. Okay, let's lift it. See if we can get a pair of pliers on the plugs. So what we've got is a couple of plugs in there with clips. So I've got some long needle pliers. We should be able to just grab hold of those and pull them out. That's the speakers out, and hopefully we can twist this around. Oh, we've got the front control panel and ribbon cable to be aware of, so let's go back on here, take this front panel off. Right, so that will allow us a little bit of serviceability. Okie dokie. So we can lay that nicely. This is actually, it seems to be built actually for serviceability. Let's go back to this camera. So, have we got any markings for supply rail voltages or anything? Can't see any. I think what I'm going to do is just reconnect the speakers whilst it's sat there if I can. I'd rather not run it without speakers just in case. There's some amplifiers, and it's got a big amplifier chip, although I'm pretty sure it will be okay to run without that. Although there is a headphone socket at the back, I could plug headphones in, but anyway, let's leave the speakers connected. It's all going to be close by. So here's our CD mechanism. So I would guess probably that if it went back to BOSE, they would just take that bit out, send it away, have it refurbished by whoever makes it, and they would just put in a replacement for it. So can we get into it? It's a metal can. So the actual loading mechanism is, what I don't want to do is take the can off and then find it won't go back together without taking the disc with it. There's one screw. Will that screw allow us to get to the optics, or should we have to take the optics assembly? Let's go back onto this camera. Where we should have been. Yeah, the optical assembly is screwed from the other side, so we'd have to take the top part of it out anyway. Probably best if I just disconnect the ribbons for now from the motherboard. So we've got the tuner in here. I mean, serviceability, I said about this is made for serviceability. It's repairability rather than serviceability. I can't say that this is built for servicing because you can't really make component level repairs on boards like this, in a situ like this. So if there was something wrong with any of this, apart from the power supply components, which are all quite big, I don't think you'd be able to do much with this. So I'm just going to take those speakers out. Yeah. God. Yeah. Let's unplug the speakers. Let's work this a different way. We'll unplug the speakers. We'll put it back together, sort of, without the CD player in. Now we've got it to this situation. We can push that to one side like that and just work on the CD player, because all I want to do basically is give the optics a clean on the CD mechanism, and see if there's any dried lubricant on the mechanism. The sled motor looks quite meaty. That's the sled motor moving the sled along. So if we crank that along to there, it should give us clearance of any plastics on the other side. So looking at this carefully before we unscrew anything, that one screw seems to screw the top plate to the bottom plate, so let's undo that. Now, okay, so I managed to push that plate back and lifted it off. This is a bit that I dread, is that if there's a way of taking this off. Right, so you've got another one screw there holding that plate on there. That same size as that one, there it is. Okay, so alright, so that's the loading mechanism. That's held onto. I'm not going to disconnect anything at the minute, but I might have to separate these wires. Well, it might be easier if I just take this little board off. Got optical sensors on there. It's just a sensor board that tells the processor, and there's a switch as well, so that way we don't have to unsolder any wires, but it gives us that little bit more freedom. So now, hopefully, this whole top mechanism should come away to a certain degree. Yeah. And that's our roller that takes it in. We can already see there's some dust and fluff trapped in the roller. It's a hair. Okay, so a little bit of ISO on the objective lens. Some people say don't use ISO. I say if it looks like it needs cleaning, clean it with ISO. It should not affect the optical at all. I always dry it off. I don't take the excess off. And then the other thing I do is I just very gently blow some air from an aeroduster into the optical area. Just little short, sharp blows. And yeah, there's some dirt just come flying out of there. Well, we can't see it on cotton bud. There's a big black blob that's just come flying out of there. Okay. So basically that's as much as I'm going to do at the moment, if at all. If this doesn't fix it, I'll have to see if there's any service information I can refer to, but I don't think BOSE releases any service information. So this top plate goes over two little hooks and is pulled back, and we get the little screw, holds it at the back here. And then we get the wires under that little clamp, or clamp plate bend, wire holder, call it what you will, and pop that sensor back on that place there. Now the actual screw holes are raised up slightly, so it's quite good that it will always go back in exactly the same place as it came out. There's no adjustment tolerance in this. That screw did have Loctite on it, as they both do, but I would suspect that's more for anti-vibration than prevention of adjustments and things. So that's that done. So then the top plate drops down onto there. Oh, no, it doesn't. Right, it goes in this side first, and then it drops down the slot and then slides along. Yeah, so you have to put that side in, drop it down. Alright, that looks the same on both sides, so it must be right. We got our little screw. Got that back in. Right. Time for a reassemble and test. Careful of the display. Move the speakers. I'll just flip them over like that for now. That might be the easier way of working on it. Drop one ribbon cable in. Push down, another ribbon cable in. Push along, so the two ribbon cables go there and there. And then the CD player sits like so. Now, all those speaker wires, no they won't. Thought they might just be long enough to go, but they won't. So anyway, let's plug the speakers back in. Okie dokie, so we've reassembled as much as we need to be. Power off at the socket because I'm putting my hands close to hot stuff. Let's plug the mains cable in. Okay, we haven't unplugged or pulled anything out, so we should be able to switch it on, and starts up saying please wait. And we should be able to put a CD in. Let's put Gloria in. In she goes. Reading disc. Straight on to play one.
Paging Dr. B.
Oh.
Emergency.
That's good. That's played the very first Sorry about that flickering. I forgot to turn the auto exposure down on that camera. I've taken this camera here is a Logitech Brio, and the software that comes with it is just such a pain to use. I've taken it off. I'm just using the standard video properties to control it. Just makes life a little bit complicated, but the Logi software is just a nightmare. Right, okay, so we're probably going to get a content match on that one. Let's jump it forward. Okay, let's go back to the last track on the disc. That's on the outside, so that's usually a pretty good test that it's going to work. Okay, let's take that one out. Let's try our Daft Punk CD. It is now playing it. Well, have we fixed it? I don't know, is the honest answer. It seems to be a lot better. It's playing a disc that it didn't play before. It could be temperature related. So I think the best thing to do now is to put it back together and just leave it running in case something temperature related takes it out. So that's what I'll do. I'll stop the video at this point, reassemble it. No point in watching me reassemble it. It's just a case of putting it back together and some screws in, and then hopefully I'll leave it running, see what it's like if it carries on playing after it's been on for a while, because it may just be temperature related. It could be a power supply, so we don't know. Back in a bit. Right, well, this BOSE hi-fi system has been working perfectly since I put it back together after cleaning the optical block and giving it a clean. Plays this disc. I've got another couple of discs out of my library which have got some scratches and things on. It plays those as well. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a fix. Giving the optical objective lens a clean, giving it a blowout with some air duster, just short bursts, has seemed to have fixed it. Fingers crossed, of course, because we can never guarantee anything's fixed until it goes wrong again. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. A little bit of an exploration into a BOSE hi-fi system. Cheerio, see you next time.